Hello students, the next semiconductor device which we'll try to understand is transistor. As we have already discussed about PN junction diode, in a PN junction diode or a diode we have two terminals and one junction, so it is called as two terminal one junction device, whereas in transistor you have three terminals and two junctions. So it is a two junction three terminal device. If you remember, in a diode we called the two terminals as anode and cathode. It was a PN junction diode, and we tried to understand what exactly we mean by forward bias and reverse bias. So in a PN junction diode, when P is connected to positive, N is connected to negative, if same polarity is connected to the terminals, what happens is the diode is forward bias. When you say the diode is forward bias, that means the junction resistance, if you recall, both the charge carrier move towards the junction resistance keeps on decreasing. Once the potential barrier vanishes, current starts flowing through the PN junction diode. That is what is called as forward bias of a PN junction diode. That means in a forward bias, resistance of the junction decreases and current flows easily through the junction. In reverse bias condition, opposite polarity is applied, holes are attracted towards the negative terminal, electrons are attracted towards the positive terminal, charge carrier move away from the junction, the depletion layer or the potential barrier increases, and when the potential barrier increases, that means the resistance offered by the diode will increase, and if the resistance increases, of course no current will flow. That condition is called as reverse bias of a PN junction diode. So that is what we have basically studied about PN junction diode, and we said how PN junction diode can be used as a switch. If it is forward biased, it is a on switch because current is flowing. If it is reverse biased, no current is flowing, the diode is working as off switch. Here we are trying to understand one more device, transistor, but the use will be exactly same. You have to use the transistor again as a switch. So if current is flowing through the transistor, it will be on switch. If current is not flowing through the transistor, it will be off switch. So that is what we will try to understand. So as I said, the transistor is a three terminal and two junction device. So there are two types basically, NPN and PNP. In NPN transistor, P is sandwiched between two N region, and in PNP transistor, N is sandwiched between two P region. So the three terminals which we take is called as emitter, base, collector. For both the transistor it will be same, emitter, base, collector. Now when you add impurity to form the region, emitter should be heavily doped, base should be slightly doped, collector should be moderately doped. Doped means adding impurity. The more the impurity you add, more will be the charge carrier which will be produced. If you remember, to form PN junction, we made P-type and N-type semiconductor. When you dope trivalent impurity, you get P-type semiconductor. When you dope pentavalent impurity, you get N-type semiconductor. But if you dope more impurity, what will happen is more charge carrier will be produced. So when you say emitter is heavily doped, that means emitter should have large amount of charge carrier, base is slightly doped, it should have very small amount of charge carrier, and collector is moderately doped, so the number of charge carrier should be between that of emitter and base. This is the basic fabrication process of a transistor which you design, either NPN or PNP. Now let us try to understand and see what happens when you externally bias the transistor. See the polarity by which I am connecting it. Okay, so now we have two junctions. One is emitter base J1 and the other one is collector base, that is J2. So we have two junctions. Now what I am doing is, in the first diagram, what I am doing is N is connected to negative and P is connected to positive for emitter base junction. N connected to negative, P connected to positive. This voltage we have applied between emitter and base, so it is called as VEB. Okay, and The other junction here, again P is connected to positive, N is connected to negative. This potential is applied between collector and base. This potential is called as VCB. Now see what happens is, what we have done is, for junction J1, N is connected to negative, P is connected to positive. If the same polarity is connected to the terminal is, the junction is forward bias. In forward bias, resistance is 0. Current will easily flow through the junction. Similarly, for the second junction, P is connected to positive, N is connected to negative. For VCB, junction J2, even that junction is forward bias. So in the first diagram, what I have done is, I have forward biased both the junction. That means resistance offered by both the junction will be very small. And if the resistance is very small, current will easily flow through the transistor. The transistor is said to be working in on state. That means current is flowing through the transistor, and the transistor is said to be working in saturation region. That means, when I say hereafter, whenever I say the transistor goes into saturation region, that means heavy amount of current is flowing through the transistor. The transistor is working as on switch. This has to be remembered. If the transistor is in saturation region, current easily flow through the transistor. That means the transistor acts as a on switch. Now in the second, again emitter, base, collector, and J1 is emitter base junction, J2 is collector base junction. Now see the polarity: positive, negative, positive, negative. Here negative, positive, negative, positive, minus, plus. This is plus, minus. VEB as the potential is applied between emitter base. This is VCB as the potential is applied between collector and base. So now what we have done is, electrons, that means N region, is connected to positive terminal, holes are connected to negative terminal. So we have reversed bias the junction, opposite polarity is connected. So J1 is reversed bias. Similarly, J2, P connected to negative, N connected to positive. So J2 also is reversed bias. So what happens to the resistance of the junction J1 and J2 for both the junction? As it is reversed bias, the depletion layer width increases, the potential barrier increases, the resistance offered by the junction will increase. So if the resistance increases, will there be any flow of current through the transistor? Of course not. Resistance increase, that means opposition to the current increases, so no current will flow through the transistor. That means the transistor will work as off switch, and the region in which the transistor works is called as cutoff region. So hereafter, whenever I say the transistor is working in cutoff region, whenever the transistor is working in cutoff region, that means no current is flowing through the transistor and the transistor is working in off state. And if I say the transistor is in saturation region, that means current is flowing through the transistor and it is in on state. So now what you can see is, to use transistor as a switch, either I have to make it on or off. But for that, what I have to do is, I have to change the polarity of VEB and VCB. That has to be done manually. But the transistor, if you understand the characteristics of transistor, the transistor switches from on to off or off to on in nanoseconds. So it is not possible manually to change the polarity in nanoseconds. Okay, this polarity I have connected to make you understand what exactly I mean by saturation region, what exactly mean by cutoff region. That means if current is flowing through the transistor, it is said to be saturation. If no current is flowing through the transistor, that means it will be cutoff region. But in practice, the transistor's polarity is like this: emitter base junction should be forward bias, collector base junction should be reverse bias. This is the polarity which has to be connected to the transistor to operate. Okay, so this is saturation, and this is an example for how the polarity should be for saturation and cutoff. Of course, we will connect the transistor in this biasing mode, but at the same time, in that same biasing mode, we will use the transistor as a switch in the later part. So what I said, emitter base junction should be forward bias and collector base junction should be reverse bias. This is emitter base, this is collector base. So for forward biasing, N should be connected to negative, P should be connected to positive. So this is VEB. And to reverse bias collector base junction, P should be connected to negative, N should be connected to positive. So this is VCB. So J1 is forward bias, J2 is reverse bias. Junction offered by J1, resistance offered by J1 will be small, resistance offered by J2 will be large. Now we have to understand the working of NPN transistor. We have both. I'll explain both the transistors. Let us start with NPN transistor working. Now we have to see whether any current flows through the transistor in this particular biasing mode. See, what happens is, as the junction J1 is forward bias, the resistance is low. What happens is, large amount of electrons will be repelled by the negative terminal and they will move into base that will constitute emitter current IE. Okay, all the charge carrier, that is why the name emitter, it emits the charge carrier into base. So when emitter base junction is forward bias, large amount of free electrons enter into base. But as we know, base is slightly doped, that means very small amount of holes will be available in base. So when large amount of electrons moving from emitter goes into base, only few electrons recombine with the holes which is present in the base region, that will constitute base current IB. And then what happens is, see what happens is, now at the junction J2, which is reversed bias, on both the sides you have electrons. That means electrons coming from emitter and the electrons present in the collector. So what happens is, now these electrons will be attracted by the positive terminal, so it will create an empty space over here. Similarly, these electrons will be jumping into that, because these electrons near the junction in base will be applying pressure on that, force on that. So these electrons will jump and these electrons will occupy into this empty space. They will be attracted by the positive terminal, creating empty space over here. So these electrons will jump into that empty space. So electrons moving from emitter goes into base, recombine with the few holes, and then all the electrons move into collector and get attracted by the positive terminal. So that constitute collector current IC. So the equation, basic equation, current equation for the transistor is IE is equal to IB plus IC, where IE is emitter current, IB is base current, IC is collector current. Out of 100% of emitter, 2% goes into base, remaining 98% goes into collector. So therefore we most of the times we specify IE is equal to IC. That means emitter current is almost equal to collector current. Now let us try to understand the working of PNP transistor on the same line. So emitter base junction should be forward bias. This is emitter base junction, this is collector base junction, this is J1, this is J2, P connected to positive, P connected to positive, N connected to negative, plus minus, and then reverse bias, N connected to positive, P connected to negative, plus minus. This is VCB and this is VEB. So this is the polarity which has to be connected, N connected to positive, P connected to negative. So now what happens is again holes will be repelled by the positive terminal. Large amount of holes moves into from emitter to base, then that will constitute emitter current IB. As base has small amount of electrons, holes and electrons recombination takes place, and there will be small base current which will flow. Remaining all the holes will enter into collector and get attracted by the Yes, reverse bias, right? Electrons should be connected to positive and this is negative. So holes will be attracted towards negative terminal. So that will constitute the collector current IC. So operation of both the transistors remains same. Just we have to understand that the direction of current. See, here what happens is the electrons is moving from emitter to base and then collector and then get attracted to the, and electron being negatively charged, it will be always repelled by the negative terminal, attracted towards the positive terminal, right? But the conventional current direction in electronics, we take always from positive to negative, right? So direction of electronic current is opposite to that of the conventional current. So how the electrons is flowing here, it is moving like this. So if opposite direction of current, conventional current has to be taken, so arrow mark I will take it out. This is IE. Okay, this is IB and this is IC. This is the direction of current. So if you take out current out of emitter, the arrow mark will be outward. See here, holes are being pushed through to the base, then to the collector and get attracted to the negative terminal. Holes being positively charged will always move from positive to negative. So the direction of current will be like this only. So arrow mark will be inward. So this is the symbolic representation of a transistor. So this is base, this is collector, this is emitter, base, collector, emitter, both are same at present. Now if the arrow mark is outward, this is NPN transistor. If the arrow mark is inward, this is PNP transistor. So arrow mark should always be placed on the emitter terminal and the arrow mark indicates the direction of current flow. So this is symbolic representation of a transistor, NPN as well as PNP. Next is transistor configuration. See, what happens is the transistor has three terminal, emitter, base, collector. Whenever the transistor has to be connected in a circuit, one terminal should be common for input as well as output. That means to give input and to take output. So depending upon which terminal we keep it as common, the transistor configuration or the way in which the circuit transistor will be connected in circuit has three configuration: common base, common emitter and common collector. See, this is the first configuration. This is the transistor. I am taking example of NPN transistor in all the three examples. This is first is common base. That means base is common for input. That means input is applied between emitter and base. Output is taken between collector and base. So what you can see is base is common for input and output, right? So what will be the input current? Base is common, leave it. Input current is IE, output current is IC. So if you want to find out the current amplification factor, see, transistor can be used as a switch, it can be used as an amplifier. The configuration or the biasing which we have provided is basically for the transistor to work as an amplifier. See, transistor, the name transistor comes from, see, what happens is the charge carrier is moving from emitter to collector. The first junction is forward bias, the second junction is reverse bias. First junction resistance is low, the second junction resistance is high. So when the charge carrier moves from emitter to collector, whether it is NPN or PNP, they experience transfer of resistance from low to high. This is a very, very important thing to be understand for how the transistor can be used as a amplifier. So what happens is when the charge carrier moves, they experience transfer of resistance, and that is how the name got as transistor, transfer of resistors. Okay, so this is what is the basic concept. Now amplification factor, I'll just tell you what is amplifier. See, amplifier, when you give a small input signal, you get a large amplified output signal. Say you get, if you give 2 volt, you get 20 volt output. So we can easily calculate the amplification factor by output upon input. The factor will be 10. So that amplification factor is specified as AV, voltage gain or current gain or power gain, AV, AI, AP, whatever it is. So when the basic configuration we understand, this is the amplification factor, current amplification factor. In case of common base, it is alpha, common emitter beta, and common collector it will be gamma. So by default, current amplification factor will be output current upon input current. Input is applied between emitter base, so input current is IE, and output is taken from collector and base. Base is common, so we leave that, so that will be IC. So IC upon IE. Now from this equation, IE is equal to IB plus IC, we can say that IC will be always a little bit less as compared to IE. That means IC will be always smaller than IE, so IC upon IE will be always less than 1, right? Alpha will be less than 1 always. So this is alpha, it cannot be used as a current amplifier. Similarly, beta, input is applied between base and emitter, output is taken between collector emitter. Emitter is common, input current will be IB, output current is IC, so it will be IC upon IE. And from this equation, IE is equal to IB plus IC. IB is 2%, IC is 98%. So IB will be very, very small as compared to IC. Beta is very, very large, around 300 for a standard common emitter configuration. And last one is common collector. In that, input is applied between base and collector, output is taken between emitter and collector. So what will be gamma? Gamma is equal to, input current will be base current IB, output current is emitter current IE. So IB is very, very small as compared to IE, so gamma will also be very, very large. So this is what we have to understand about the three configuration. I hope you understand. The in common base is common for input and output. In common emitter is common for input and output, and common collector is common for input and output. And that is how we define alpha, beta and gamma, which is the current amplification factor for common base, common emitter and common collector configuration respectively. So that equation will be very useful for us when we understand how the transistor can be used as a switch. So the next part will have transistor as a switch. So when the transistor has to be used as a switch, as I said, you cannot connect it in saturation and cutoff, you cannot manually change. So what is the polarity which has to be applied? This is the polarity. Emitter base junction should be forward bias and collector base junction should be reverse bias. Of course, what we have done is we have applied two external potentials, two external biasing potentials which has been applied, but the same circuit can be designed by using single potential. This is what plus VCC, that means VCC indicates collector potential, the total collector potential, VCC. So that is the single potential. RC is the collector resistance, RB is the base resistance. Emitter is common for input and output, so this is a common emitter configuration. Input current will be base current and the current flowing through the transistor will be collector current. Now see what happens is, suppose if I apply at this point, I will apply 0 volt. What does that 0 volt means? 0 volt means no potential. That means it is as if I have connected that particular input base terminal to ground. So if I connect the base terminal to ground, what happens is the base current will become 0, right? And this is common emitter configuration. In common emitter configuration, beta is IC upon IB. Beta is IC upon IB. So can I write IC is equal to beta IB? One and the same thing. And as I said, when 0 volt is applied, what happens is the base current is 0. When base current is 0, IC is 0. And when no current is flowing through the transistor, that means IC is 0 means IC is the current flowing through the transistor. So no current is flowing through the transistor. and when no current flows through the transistor, we say the transistor is working in cutoff region. That means at this point the transistor is in off state, no current is flowing through the transistor. So when 0 is applied, 0 volt, the transistor is in off state. See, now what happens is, suppose if I apply 5 volt, now for 5 volt some base current will flow, that base current multiplied by beta. Now what is beta? Beta is 300, so IC is equal to 300 times IB. So for 5 volt small base current will flow, and that will be multiplied 300 times to provide IC. That means large amount of collector current is flowing through the transistor, and when the transistor is conducting heavily, large amount of current is flowing through the transistor, we say the transistor is working in saturation region. So that is how the transistor can be used as a switch. When you give 0 at the input, the transistor is in cutoff region. When you give any higher voltage, the transistor will directly go into saturation region, because collector will be 300 times multiplied by base current. So collector current will be very large. Even for a small base current, collector current will be large. So we can say the transistor is conducting heavily, therefore the transistor is working in saturation region. So transistor can be used in both the one of the two region, cutoff and saturation. So that is how transistor can be used as a switch. Next is, we need for see, if all these things we are trying to understand chapter number 3, which we have skipped. In that we will try to understand two types of logic families, TTL and CMOS. For TTL, the transistor which we are going to use is BJT, bipolar junction transistor. This is what is bipolar junction transistor, because current conduction is because of both the charge carriers, electrons as well as holes. So now for TTL logic, the transistor which we use has multiple emitter. The transistor which I have told you at present has only one emitter. So now we have to understand how a multiple emitter transistor is fabricated. So this is what is the transistor. Two PN junction diodes are used. This is terminal T, this is transistor with one emitter, this is base, and this is the resistance, and this is the power supply. Now what you can see is, for this two diodes, this is the P region, this is the N region, this is the P region, this is the N region. So both P regions are connected to positive already. So if whether these diodes are forward bias or reverse bias depend upon the N region connection, and the N region connection depends upon A and B. So in A, digital A and B will have 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 1, and 0 corresponds to 0 volt, 1 corresponds to any higher voltage. So when I say A and B both are 0, that means A and B both are grounded, which indicates that P is for both the diodes. P is connected to positive, N is connected to ground. Both the diodes are forward bias. Both the diodes are forward bias, and when they are forward bias, they are acting as a switch, on switch. So this point T gets connected to ground. So potential at point T will be 0 volt, and if 0 volt is applied to the base of the transistor, 0 volt, the transistor is in cutoff region. The transistor is in cutoff region. Similarly, A0 B1, that means A is still grounded, B is plus 5 volt. Now what happens for this lower diode? Both the junctions are connected to positive terminal, so it will be acting as a off switch. No current will flow because there is no potential difference for current to flow. So we say the transit diode is reverse bias. But as A is grounded, T gets connected to ground through this diode because it is acting as a on switch. So potential at T still will be 0 volt. The transistor will be still in cutoff region. Next, A1, that means A is positive and B is ground. So this diode is reverse bias, open switch. This diode is forward bias, on switch. Point T gets connected to ground through the lower diode. That means potential at T will be still 0 volt. The transistor is in cutoff region. Now what happens when both the diodes are 1? That means both the diodes are reverse bias. So now T cannot be connected to ground through the diode, as both the diodes which is acting as a switch are open. So T gets connected to plus VCC. So potential at T will be plus VCC, and if positive supply is applied to the base of the transistor, small base current will flow multiplied by 300 times, large amount of collector current will flow. The transistor is said to be working in saturation region. So this is how basically that circuit works, and that circuit can be fabricated like this. So the two diodes can be imagined to be the extra emitters. So emitter 1, emitter 2, emitter 3. So basically emitter 2 and emitter 3 are what? These are nothing but the PN junction diodes which are connected externally. So that is how these two diodes can be fabricated to have multiple emitter in a transistor. So this is the basic construction of a multiple emitter transistor. Let us try to understand the operation of that multiple emitter transistor, because this is what we are going to use in a TTL logic family. So see, this is A and this is B. How many possible combination for A and B? 1 0 1 1. Now when I say A and B both are 0, that means both A and B are ground terminal. What happens to this PN junction? Both P regions are already connected to positive, N region are connected to ground. So both the PN junction is forward bias. That means current will flow like this, and this current will flow and it will go to ground, either through diode, upper diode or lower diode. So what happens is, if you take the potential at this point, which is the base voltage of your transistor Q1 say, so what happens is the base is connected to ground through the diode, because diode is forward bias and they are acting as a closed switch. So the base is connected to ground, so base voltage will be 0 volt. Similarly, A0 B1, A is still grounded, B will be plus VCC. So now the upper diode is forward bias, lower diode is reversed bias. If any one of the diode is forward bias, current will flow through that diode to ground. Base will be connected through diode to ground, so base voltage will be 0 volt. 1 0, same condition will prevail, 0 volt. And 1 1, that means when both the inputs are positive, both the diodes are reverse bias. That means both the diodes are acting as an open switch, so no current will flow through the diode. Now B is connected to which polarity? Plus VCC. The potential at base voltage of transistor Q1, base voltage of transistor Q1 will be plus VCC. So you can see, if you convert this as digital output, 0 volt corresponds to 0 and any higher voltage is considered as 1. So it will be 0 0 0 1, 0 0 0 1. And that means when any one of the input is 0, the output is 0. When both the inputs are 1, the output is 1. It is similar to AND gate. So this is how transistor can be. Actually basically gates are designed using transistors. So this is how transistors works as or you can make the transistor to work as gates. So this is what is the basics of the entire transistor. This is what we are going to use in TTL, transistor